Underrealm Lich, which I will refer to as just Lich, is very good in Gitrog decks and definitely the MVP of my $50 budget deck, link in the description. Hashtag shameless plug. Unfortunately, Lich has a relatively high converted mana cost. Nonetheless, you shouldn't dismiss it. Lich is particularly good in heavy stacks metas or ones that love exiling Dakmor. Essentially, Lich can replace Dakmor. I will be demonstrating how to draw your library and how to do empty library loops with it. However, I won't show the Emergent Zone procedure or the Deathrite Shaman loop in this video, so if you want to learn those, check out the documentation made by Forgotten Kane. As a side note, Lich prevents you from decking yourself, and as an added bonus, no one expects you to win with it. First up is drawing the library. I made a flowchart to make this easier. Before we begin, we must have the Gitrog monster, a discard outlet, and Lich on the battlefield, and a draw trigger on the stack. I want to note that starting like this alone is risky, and that it's best if you have a way to discard or sack a few lands before beginning. Also, if Dakmor is not exiled and merely in your deck still, you can simply do this until you hit it and then use Dakmor loops. Okay, so we're going to resolve the draw trigger through Lich looking at the top 3 cards of our library. We hit 2 lands and a non-land, so we take one of those lands, put it into our hand, and put the other 2 into our graveyard. This generates a new draw trigger, allowing us to continue. This time we hit 3 non-lands. We take one, put the other 2 into our graveyard, and now we have no draw triggers on the stack. This requires us to discard a land before we can begin again. This is why I suggest you have a way to generate some draw triggers by discarding or sacking lands, otherwise you're going to be stuck. Now, we repeat this to draw our entire library and graveyard as we shuffle when a shuffler comes up. I'm going to put that right here. And that allows us to proceed to empty library loops. To begin, we should have nothing in our graveyard or library since we drew it all. First, we discard a land. Then we discard a Titan. This generates a draw trigger and a shuffle trigger, stacked so that the shuffle happens before the draw. Now, we cast a spell. The first spell we loop is Dark Ritual to generate infinite mana. The spell resolves, then we resolve the shuffle, shuffling all 3 into our library. Now, we draw through Lich, looking at the top 3, taking our spell and putting the other 2 into our graveyard. We stack the shuffle on top of the draw, and then we repeat, casting the spell, then resolving the shuffle, and then the draw. And that's how the loop happens. If you have Ebony Charm or Guess Verdict, or another way to deal damage to your opponents, you can loop it instead of Dark Ritual at this point and kill everyone that way. With all our opponents dead, this video is concluded. Like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.